Hey, y'all. What's going on? It's me, your girl, Antinette, mom, entrepreneur, manifestation expert. And I just want to say good morning. Happy Tuesday. It's a great day to be alive. And I'm so happy that you could be here with me today, whether it's live or you're catching a replay. I just really, really appreciate you. Today, I wanted to come on and I really wanted to share a strategy, share a process with you that will support you in staying focused on your journey and manifesting your greatness. And this process that I'm talking about has everything to do with your routine and managing your time. Now, this past week alone, I have heard so many people say, they don't have enough time. They don't have enough time to do their daily chores, their daily tasks. They don't have enough time to spend time with their family. They don't have enough time for themselves. And every time I hear that, it really does. It makes me cringe because I'm like, listen, we all have enough time to do what it is that we want to do. And our time is like our biggest currency. So if you don't have enough time, it's like, well, what is it that you have if you don't have enough time? Because our time is the most valuable way that we can show that we care about somebody by spending time with them, that we care about what they do by spending time and the things that they do, right? So our time is our most valuable currency, and you not having enough time is not the way to live. You have enough time to do what you want to do, right? And you just have to implement some strategies and some processes in your life that can allow you to take control of your time, allow you to manage your time more effectively. And that's what I'm going to talk with you about today. I'm going to share that process with you today. And I really hope you find it helpful because for me, it's very, very helpful in my life and in my clients' life too. When people come to me and tell me that they don't have enough time or they don't know where their time is going, we go through this process, and by the end of the week, I'm trying to tell you, all of my clients end up finding at least 15 hours in their week where they can contribute to starting their business or contribute to starting their blog, contribute to whatever it is that they want to do. But it really does start with you managing your time and you getting a hold of your time. So we're going to talk about this today, and I'm going to talk about this every day until the message gets out there that you have enough time to do what it is that you want to do. I don't want to hear people say that I don't have enough time, because that's not true. You do. You do. Right? It starts with the mindset. Start with that mindset first. So before I even get into the strategy, right? The process of what we do, how you can start to get more time in your week, in your day. I know that first you have to really understand what your ultimate life goals are. What are the goals that you are working towards, like the big goals that you are working towards, the big dreams, the big goals, those financial goals, your career goals? What is it that you ultimately see yourself being in your career? Where do you ultimately see yourself traveling in your life? Where are the places that you want to go? What type of relationships do you want to have? What type of finances do you want to have ultimately, right? I want you to think about your ultimate life goals, and that's important for you before you can even think about time management, because at the end of the day, when we start to think about time management, it can get real. All right, it gets real in time management, and you're going to understand what I mean. So when it gets real and times start to get rough, you have to think about that dream. You got to think about the big picture, and don't ever forget it, because when you start to think about the daily flows of life, you can begin to sometimes be overwhelmed. It can bring about a certain amount of anxiety within you, because sometimes everyday life, it's not the easiest, right? We all have a lot of responsibilities. We all have a lot of challenges that we go through on an everyday basis. So it can get hard. It can get challenging. But if you don't forget about your ultimate life goals, when stuff gets hard, just know that you have something that you are working towards that's bigger than you, right? So That's important when we're talking about and we're starting to think about our time management, right? So time management, really, what is time management? Let's get right into it. So time management is all about how you conduct the 24 hours that you have to get what you ultimately want. How do you conduct the 24 hours that you have to get what you ultimately want? Right? And we all have the same 24 hours in a day. You'll hear me say that often. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, but it's all about how you conduct the 24 hours that you have to get what it is that you say you want, right? So the first thing you have to do when you are managing or you're trying to, you're someone who believes that time management is a challenge for you. You don't know where your time going. You know that you want to accomplish these goals. You know that you want to maybe start your business. You know that you maybe just want to have more time to yourself, but you feel like your time is being consumed with your kids or and with work stuff all the time. Like it's not being spent where you want it to be spent, right? So that's you. So the first thing I would do with my client, if I was working with my client, I would have my client, first of all, listen, we got to get in reality. And I hate talking about reality, but when it comes to your time management, you have to get in reality and you really got to think about what are the things. Listen, we only got 24 hours in a day. And you got to think about what are the things that you must do in the 24 hours that you have, right? Because we have made decisions in our life that contributes to the things that we must do. So we might have kids. We got to work. It's all about our daily routine. We might have to go to appointments. We gotta do our house chores or whatever the case may be. But it's things that we must do with our time, period, right? So what I have my clients do, I have a worksheet that I created, and this is my personal worksheet, but I have them write down what are the things that you must do. So what it looks like for me, what I must do, and I have them think about it I think about your daily, your weekly, your monthly. But when we're sitting down and we're going through these worksheets, I have them think about what are the things that they must do on a weekly basis, period. So I know for myself, I have to. There's no getting around this. I homeschool my kids, right? So I must homeschool my kids, right? I know that I work for myself. I'm an entrepreneur at home. So I know that it's certain tasks that I must do every day, every week to get me closer to my ultimate goal, period. So I can get some money in my pocket, so I can get my brand out there for brand awareness, right? So for this week, I said I contacted at least 5 human service organizations. I must go live. Like these are the things that I must spend some of my 24 hours doing, right? So what are the things that you must do? You might have to go to work, right? You might work a traditional job. You work that 9 to 5. So once you identify the things that you must do on your worksheet, I have a sheet that's called Plan Your Next 24, right? So I normally plan my day like days ahead. I don't try to plan my day the day of. So I have the sheet on Plan Your Next 24. So with your Plan Your Next 24, you're literally plugging in. First of all, it's the 24 hours. You see how it's the 24 hours mapped out? 24 hours mapped out. So you can see clearly that you have 24 hours in a day, right? So you know that when you waking up, if you're somebody, and this is what you have to do, if you're someone who you have an issue with managing your time, you literally have to break your time down like this until you begin to get a system in place. Like, no lie, this is what we do, and it works. So you have to do it if you're someone who's struggling with managing your time. So you might be, you sleep for a certain amount of time. So from 12 a.m. to 6 or whatever, you sleep. So you can't do nothing in the time that you sleep, right? So then you start your day, you got to drop the kids off, then you work your 9 to 5, then you got to cook, right? You got to cook dinner, you got to do your chores. So that's the things that you have to do. And then you plug that in on your 24 hours, right? That's the first thing you got to do. That's your priorities, right? You can't get around that. That's the first thing you got to do. You plug in what you have to do. That's your routines, right? And then there are benefits. I told y'all that there are benefits to writing it down too. I have my notes here, so I don't want to make sure that I'm forgetting anything. But there are benefits to writing it down. So that's why I have my worksheets, and that's why even if you don't download the worksheets or if you don't have access to the worksheets, you can still write it down in a notebook, this information. But it's so much value to writing it down, and I talk about that in episode 15, I believe, of my podcast, the last episode. So you definitely want to check that out. I talk about the power of writing down your goals and goal setting. So after you plug it in, after you've done that part, because that's a lot in itself. So after you plug in all that information of the things that you must do, you might be feeling two ways right now. You might be feeling like, okay, I realized that I actually do have enough time to really work with. All I'm doing, I sleep, but outside of work and spending time with my family or something like that, I do have enough time to contribute to my goals. I'm just not managing my time right. And now you can really see how to plug in and what you want to do, right? Or you might be somebody who you have completed this part of your exercise, and it's like, hold up. Maybe sometimes I don't have a lot of time. And now you have to really focus on how can you get more time. You can't if you're a part of the ladder, if you realize that you don't have enough time like you thought you did, you don't get defeated. There's always something that can be done. Like there's always something that you can do. There's always something that you can maneuver to support you and having more time. Even if that includes losing some sleep sometimes. Sometimes you got to make some sacrifices in order for you to get to your ultimate goals, right? But before you can even think about your ultimate goals and the things that you want, you really have to think about just the things that you have to do as a whole. Like, so now you know those things that you have to do. Now I want you to revisit your ultimate goals and the things that you want to do with your life, right? What do you want to do? Those ultimate goals that you wish to experience in your life, right? Think about that. And then now you have to think about what are some tasks that you must do to achieve those goals, right? Because the first must do tasks just help you to, get by day to day. But now it's time to elevate your life. You can't just get by day to day, right? It's more to life than just getting by every day. It's more to life than just going to work every day, taking care of your kids, cooking dinner, cleaning the house. It's more to life than that, right? It's more to life. And now you got to think about what is that more for you. So, but you already thought about that. So now you got to think about the little tasks that's going to support you in achieving that life that you want. And then you got to write that stuff down, right? And it seems like a lot. That's why it's not a process that happens in one setting. When I'm working with my clients, it's a process that we go through. It's conversations that we have. It's realizations that we uncover, right, to support us and really recognizing and realizing what it is that you want to achieve in your life. It's a process. It's a process, and realizing what you have to do to gain more time. It's a process, but I'm telling you the process that you can engage in on your own that's going to support you in having more time in your life. And it really does start with these worksheets right here. It really does start with identifying your weekly tasks, right? Identifying what your ultimate goals are. Then identifying your weekly tasks, the things that you must do. And then identifying the things that you want to do, right? That's important. And sometimes when you are working towards your goals, the things that you want to do get put on the back burner. You have to really focus on what is going to get you to your ultimate goals and make that a priority for yourself. You really have to make that a priority for yourself. Make your time a priority. Figure out where you are spending your time and really make it a priority. Figure out if you are doing something that you don't want to do, you don't have to do it. Figure out how you can spend your time doing something else. It might not happen overnight, but if you begin to think about ways in which you want to spend your time other than what you're doing right now, then it's possible for you. It's definitely possible for you. So you just have to really you got to focus on your time. Our time is our biggest currency. And you do have enough time to do what you want to do. You just have to map out how you're spending your time right now, right? And create a vision of how you want to spend your time, right? And use these tools in between to support you in staying focused on how you're spending your time. right? Make sure you're spending your time the right way. Make sure you're doing the task that's going to get you closer to what you ultimately want out of life, right? That's important. So what I did was I used these worksheets on my own, right? And I don't use them like every day, all day. So normally I use my worksheets when I'm in the beginning of creating my system for myself. So right now I'm on a journey. I'm creating a new system. I'm calling this journey right now Operation Exposure. So I'm putting myself out there with this coaching business. I'm connecting with organizations and stuff like that. So because this is an actual goal of mine and it aligns with my ultimate goal, and I have all these other things going on, like me being a homeschool teacher, me being at home with my kids, me being involved in like this leadership class that I'm doing right now, which is very fun and interesting. But I have a lot of things on my schedule right now, so I can get overwhelmed pretty quickly and easily. So to support me and not being so overwhelmed, I have to write things down and I have to use these tools, right? So if you're like me and you might have a lot of things on your schedule right now, sometimes your time and all the tasks that you have to do can be overwhelming. These are the tools that you can use that I created for us that you can use that can support you in really staying focused, reaching your goals, and also reducing the anxiety that you may have about time management and getting rid of that excuse as well of I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. Yes, you do. You do have enough time. And if you realize that you don't have enough time to complete that task, then you can just say that instead of saying I don't have enough time, you can say something like, this doesn't fit in my schedule right now. That gives you more of authority and power. Like, this doesn't fit in my schedule right now because you have looked at your time, you have analyzed your hours, and like, yeah, this doesn't fit in my schedule right now. Not that I don't have enough time. It just doesn't fit into your schedule. And you'll get to it when it fits, when it becomes available to fit in your schedule, right? You're focused on other things right now. You know clearly what it is that you're focused on. And it's not about you not having enough time. It's not about that creating that excuse for yourself because you have enough time to do the things that you want to do, that you need to do, and that you have to do. Okay? You have enough time. You have enough time. You just have to create, a process that's going to allow you to get the things that you want. That's all. So that's what you have to do. Okay? You have to really just figure out where you're spending your time. Use these tools. I'm going to leave the link in the comment section. And you have to join my email list to get these worksheets, okay? So you'll get 5 worksheets. So the first worksheet that you get is the Identify Your Weekly Task worksheet. And really on the front it says, what task do you First, this is the front page. It says, what tasks must you complete this week? So your must, right? What are the things that you must complete this week? What are the things that you must complete this week? Like your priorities, like your, like your routine things, like work, school, stuff like that. Those are the things that you must complete. But also, what are the things that you must complete that's going to get you closer to your ultimate goal? What are the things that you must complete this week to get you closer to your ultimate goal, right? And then on the back, it says, what are the things that you want to complete? Because your wants and your must are different, right? Your wants and your must are different. And I'm going to do a video on competing priorities. I was on my Instagram, and on my stories, people are really active over there in my stories. So I really like that. And I was talking to someone about their challenges with time management, and what she said was she has a challenge with when her priorities compete with each other. Like, which one should she choose? How does she decide? So I'm definitely going to do a video on that coming up. And if you're someone who has challenges with competing priorities, I definitely encourage you to tune in on that video, I'm going to do that on Thursday around this time. So what are the things that you want to complete? So one of the things I said was, like, I want to go see my grandma. I want to go see her. It's not a must thing, but that's the thing that I want to go do. And because I wrote it down, it's going to happen. I want to go see. It's going to make her happy, right? It's not a must that I must do on my end, but I know it's going to make her happy, right? So that's the first thing. Identify your weekly tasks. And then you'll get the plan your next 24, right? Plan your next 24. And with this worksheet, what I like to do is I like to complete this worksheet at night. Every night I like to complete this worksheet for the day before. For the day ahead, right? At night, like when you do your to-do list, when you're figuring out what your schedule's going to be or how your schedule's going to look for the next day, this is the perfect worksheet to use when you are trying to really figure out where your time is going to go tomorrow. And I like to print out about 2 or 3. You can print out 5 so you can just be prepared for the week. But I complete 2 or 3 at a time because I normally know what I'm going to do a couple of days ahead. And it helps me to really get a clear view of how I can spend my time, because I work at home, so my time can really get away from me. So I really have to really stay focused on what I'm going to do, when I'm going to do it, because if I don't, then it probably won't get done because I'm my own boss. I ain't going to fire myself. So, So plan your next 24. Also, what else did I have? I had I don't have that worksheet with me, but in the, with the worksheets, I have the identify your barriers, right? Because a lot of times, we know the things that can prevent us from achieving the goals that we have for ourselves. Like, so if you say you want to work out, right? You say you want to work out every week. You want to fit that into your schedule of working out. What's going to prevent you from achieving that goal? What's barrier is going to prevent you from doing that? Is it going to be your mindset, right? So then you're going to have to figure out what can you do to, create successes when those barriers pop up, because you know yourself, right? So if you know that you really don't want to work out, you really don't like going to the gym, and your mind's going to tell you that, that's why you always are going back and forth with this goal. Now, when you think about your barriers, you can think about other ways in which you can have a success with this, right? Because you know what the barriers that are blocking your way. You know what's standing in your way. I hope that made sense, but identify your barriers, right, as it pertains to the things that you want to spend your time doing, right? And then last but not least, I have time management affirmations. So when you are faced with barriers, because one of my barriers that I face when I'm working towards the goals that I set for myself, it could be as simple as me wanting to cook dinner, or me wanting to, I don't know, maybe do a project with my kids or something, right? One of the things with myself is I'm very flexible with myself. So if I don't feel like doing it, I won't doing it. So what I have to do is I have to do as much as I can, like the day before, to set me up to have a success. So if I say I'm going to cook or something, I probably need to buy it the day before so it can really happen, Or now that actually with me doing my own strategies and doing my own schedule, I actually have been, like, the last few days I've been cooking, getting up early, like really paying attention to my schedule, because like I said, I'm on another level with what I'm trying to accomplish in my life. So paying attention to my time is very important, because our time is our biggest currency. It really is. Like, you cannot say I don't have enough time. Like, what? How you don't have enough? It's your time. Don't nobody control you but you. And if you are living a life where you're being controlled by something else, then you need to design something else, because you don't deserve that. That's all I got to say. You don't deserve to live that life. That's why I do these videos, and that's why I created a business to support you in designing and living your best life. Like, what is the life that you want to live? Like, I'm not talking about the life that you seen your mom live and your dad live, and the life that you seen in your community. Because if I was to go off of that, listen, I'll be a crackhead, because that's what I see. And when I live next to a drug clinic. So if I was to go off of the things that I see every day and allow that to be my inspiration and motivation in a I don't want to say a negative way, but in a negative way, then Jesus, who knows how we'll end up. Like, no, we can We can create our best life. Our best life is not determined by the things that we see. It really isn't. And I want us to know that we can accomplish anything that we want to accomplish. We can be anything that we want to be. We can spend our time doing anything that we want. It might take a while, because yes, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? But we all don't experience the same things. And some of our journeys are going to be harder than others. But what I like to say is that God gives his toughest soldiers the hardest battles, because he knows that we're going to make it through. He knows that we're going to be okay, right? And don't think otherwise. Don't think otherwise. That's all I got to say. Whenever I hear people say they don't have enough time, I just want to tell them, yes, you do. And sometimes I do. I do tell them that, because I don't want you to think otherwise. When you think like that, and when you even speak that, that shows that you have a negative mindset. That's a negative mindset. That's your negative mindset talking. And we can't afford to be negative right now. We really can't. This is not the time to speak any negativity over your life. It really isn't. This ain't the time for that. This is the time to speak life. Speak life, speak life, speak life. Speak life. And your life begins with your time. You only get 24 hours in one day, right? Speak life over that time. Your time is your biggest currency, right? Your time is your biggest currency. And sometimes you need your affirmations. Your affirmations are going to help you with that, right? Let me share one with you, or two with you. One of my favorite affirmations is, I am the boss of my time. Okay? I am the boss of my time. Say that to yourself every day. Look in the mirror and say that to yourself, and see how empowering that's going to be for you, and see how that's going to begin to even make you feel, right? Like, see how much power you're going to have just by saying, I am the boss of my time. Yes, you are, boss. You are the boss of your time. How about, I like this one. I am in control of my time and my life. Yes, you are. You are in control of your time and your life. Okay? Don't think otherwise. It starts with your mind, right? Start thinking that. Start being that. And start rebuking every situation in your life that does not contribute to who you say you are. Because you are who you say you are, right? Just show up in that. Be that. And just live it and receive it and all that, okay? So today, y'all, that's really all I have for y'all. I'm about to go live on Instagram now to share the same thing, right? But today, that's all I wanted to do, was let you know. I wanted to share some strategies with you that can support you in really managing your time, taking control of your time, being a boss of your time, because you're a boss at the end of the day, right? At the beginning of the day and the end of the day, all day, right? You're a boss. And being a boss means that you are in control of your time and your life, right? It's a beautiful feeling being a boss of you, right? Being the CEO of you, right? And if you don't know what that feels like, I encourage you to partner with me. I support my clients in designing and living their best life. Designing and living their best life, your best life. And if you are someone who you might be unclear about this journey that you're on right now, you need support in designing your vision. You might need support in taking action with the vision that you have for yourself, overcoming those mental barriers, those mental blocks, right? I can support you in doing that, because I've done it for myself. I've done it for others, and I definitely want to do it for you. So I definitely encourage you to visit my website, AntinetteDevelops.com. And I love y'all. I will see you later Thursday when I come back, and I'll be sharing some more tips, tools, and strategies on actually competing priorities. That's what I'm going to talk about. So if that's an issue for you, definitely look for me on Thursday. Around this time. That's all I can say. Talk to y'all later.